Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. So we have a lot going on. We have the Model Y killer, some more information on it, the Ladao. We have some yummy news going on with the 4th generation swap station, which is not going to be free anymore. Way faster, and we have take on the Europeans on how they feel, the experts in Europe, about the new tariffs. So let's start with the Onvo, the Model Y killer that's going to destroy Tesla by the end of this year. Regulatory filing: Neo Onvo L60 to use BYD batteries offers single and dual motor options. See, we were expecting this for the ET5, but Emperor William Lee said that the ET5 is our high-end range. That's not going to have a single motor, right? So we know that. That's why they kept it as a high-end premium vehicle along with our other premium brands. And now we understand why he did that. So the Neo Onvo L60 will use lithium iron phosphate, so it'll help with the cost again, the batteries, supplied by BYD with single and dual motor options, and will be built at Neo's F2 plant. A regulatory filing has revealed core specs of the L60, and you will find to be very yummy. So we already saw that the inside of the Onvo is way more spacious than a Model Y. We know it's technologically advanced, but this gives us a little idea and it also talks about the sub-brand Onvo before deliveries of the model are expected to begin in September. So they put out a regulatory filing already. The public can submit their feedback between June the 14th to 20. And I'm going to skip through some of the FUD. The two variants in the catalog are single motor and dual motors. So they get it, one going to be even cheaper. And both use lithium iron phosphate batteries from FinDreams Battery, the battery division of BYD. The Onvo L60 filing page don't mention information about the battery capacity. The batteries used in Neo models are mainly from CATL, as we all know. The company has also teamed up with local startup Beijing Weilion New Energy Technology to create a 150 kilowatt semi-solid battery we know about. It goes 1,000 kilometers on one charge. And when Neo launched the Onvo brand on May 15th, excuse me guys, it said the model had a range of 555 kilometers for the standard range version, and more than 730 kilometers for the long range version. That puts the Model Y to shame. Like Neo models, the L60 will also be able to use the long range battery pack, resulting in a range of over 1,000 kilometers, the company said at the time. However, today's filing page do not include batteries from Weilion, meaning the Onvo L60 and Neo began pre-sales of the Onvo L60 on May the 15th. We all know that, with a starting price of $30,320, with official launch of delivery set in September. They still did not mention, if you do battery as a service, what it's going to come down to. That's going to be, I think they're saving that for a little later on. Now this is the killer. The model single motor version is powered by a rear motor with a peak power of 240 kilowatt and supports a top speed of 200 kilometers per hour. It's the dual motor variant of the Onvo L60 has an additional front motor with a peak power of 100 kilowatts and support a top speed of 203 kilometers per hour. To put that in perspective, Tesla Model 3 top speed is 145 kilometers per hour. So not only are we more spacious, more technology advanced, but we're faster. This is why I told you guys it's the Model Y killer. So take a look at this clip, guys, and then we shall continue.
Jill, I've reached out to several Chinese car makers, EV makers, to get their response on this latest development. We have heard back from NIO in the statement that they sent to me over here. Now, they are facing a 21% tariff. And in that statement, it said that it strongly opposes the use of increased tariffs as a strategy to obstruct the normal global trade of electric vehicles, adding that its commitment in Europe is unwavering. And
Ollie, thank you. Olivia Seong reporting. Two sides to every coin. Let's go now to Alex Kadir in Brussels for details on those tariffs. Alex, we're looking at the top end of the range, higher than the 35% estimated. Will the new tariffs boost sales for European EV makers on their home turf?
Well, according to senior European Commission officials I've been speaking to in the last few minutes, the answer to that is no. In fact, the objective, according to the European Commission, is to level the playing field, to offset what they see as unfair competition through state subsidies of Chinese EV companies importing cars into the European market. And one of the pieces of evidence that you can point to when it comes to that is actually European companies producing cars in China will be hit by higher tariffs than some Chinese companies. For example, BYD at 17%, lower than other European car makers who have joint ventures in China who will be hit by 21% tariffs. European Commission officials saying that they want to offset what they've described as a network of favorable conditions for Chinese EV producers in the Chinese market, including grants and green bonds and preferable financing rules, as well as tax exemptions across the board. And in the context of that, the European Commission says they're very eager to work with the Chinese government. They described the involvement of the Chinese government as being very active, but being very hesitant when it came to handing over information. The other thing to say is that these do kick in the next couple of weeks, but not in a permanent way. At that stage, it will just be required for the EV makers to put a guarantee forward that would be equivalent to the percentage they have to pay. The full enforcement, if European member states are on board, will happen later in the year.
So what you're saying is that it's going to be implemented in a phased approach. What happens when these measures come into full force? And what tools does the EU have if China decides to retaliate, bearing in mind that they've hinted that retaliation could go wider than the EV sector?
Yeah, well, this is one thing I asked of senior European Commission officials who were talking about this behind the scenes, and they said, look, we're not there yet. What we want is to work with the Chinese government to find a way to not have to implement these new tariffs.
All right, guys, welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed that clip. Puts it a little better into perspective. And remember that they are still in dialogue with the Chinese authorities, the European Union, to see if they can iron out the situation. This is why I told you guys, I don't panic over small speed bumps. I keep buying. And even if that's implemented, it's going to start a massive trade war. Europe will suffer badly due to this, and China will continue to go in other parts of the world and go into European countries that don't have the tariffs. So NIO sees first batch of 4th-generation swap station with multi-brand support go live. We're talking about massive revenue coming, guys. NIO's 4th-generation battery swap stations are more open, supporting service for multi-brand vehicles. Remember, we were talking about, people were saying, well, how are these partnerships going to take fruitage? And we don't understand it. So we're getting ready for, this is going to be compatible for Chang'an, Geely, and the rest of them, with more battery pack sizes. So remember at one point the trolls were saying, well, all the batteries have to be the same size. No, 4th generation, baby. Pull your pants up and shut your mouth, boy. NIO saw its first 4th generation battery swap station go live today, marking the start of operations for its station that support multi-brand models without modifications. Without modifications. This is the cash cow we have been waiting for. The company had 2 4th generation stations go live today in Guangzhou, Guangdong province. and Luan, Anhui province, NEO said today on its mobile app, with many more coming this year. This is why I tell you guys, our revenue is not just going to come from deliveries. Wait till you see what happens by the end of this year, by the fourth quarter, and next year. The Luan site is the first to be built by NEO in partnership with Zohan Energy. So that means less cash burn, as they call it. The shorts call it cash burn. We call it investment. Let's see who's right and who's wrong. Which was founded earlier this year with the goal of building 1,000 stations with energy storage, charging, and battery swap capabilities. With energy storage, remember we're an energy company as well. NEO's 4th generation battery swap stations cut the time per service by 22%, boost the number of batteries stored to 23, and provides up to 480 services per day. You heard that right. The 3rd generation battery swap station, which began installation in April 2023, is capable of storing up to 21 battery packs. Now we moved it up from 13 in its predecessor and 5 in the 1st generation of the facility. The 4th generation station is equipped with 6 ultra-wide angle LiDARs, 4 NVIDIA RNX chips, and a total computing power of 1,016 TOPS. The more powerful hardware makes it possible for these sites to support vehicles to autonomously complete services and self-park in more complex environments in the future, according to the company. Yes, autonomous swapping and parking. NEO's 4th generation battery swap stations are more open and support servicing of multi-brands vehicles with different size battery packs, the company said, and this is something they did not even mention until now. Multi-size pack for multi-brands. Can someone say the future of gas stations? Can someone say $1 trillion company coming? Thank you, guys. Thank you. The stations will be able to offer upgraded service to users, including NEO, Onvo, and the company's battery swap partners. It said everyone's allowed. Come one, come all. The company has more than 1,000 3rd generation battery swap stations and will need to be retrofitted for Onvo models. NEO founder, chairman, and CEO William Lee said on June 6 earnings call. They're going to upgrade them for Onvo as well for the amount we're getting ready to sell. Remember, William Lee said that it exceeded expectations. That's why Money Making Mitch did not panic. And I kept buying, and I'll keep buying. The cost of retrofitting each 3rd generation station is roughly RMB 200,000. There will be more than 1,000 battery swap stations available for Onvo alone. That's a lot, guys. NEO battery swap stations can break even if they provide 60 services per day, which is currently around 30 per day. Now with Onvo coming out, guys, and multi-battery packs for multi-brands. Can someone say profitability? Can someone say you don't have to panic? Can someone say selling back energy to the grid in a massive way with the 4th generations? The company plans to continue adding 1,000 more battery swap stations in China in 2024, bringing the total to more than 3,310, according to plans it unveiled at NEO Day 2023 last year. And I was talking to my subscriber in Australia who does a lot of digging. I told him I encourage him to start his own channel as well, and I'm hoping he does soon. But we were talking and he made a very good point. He said, don't be surprised if we start selling chips to other manufacturers in the future, because as America continues to ramp up the trade war and block the sales of chips and stuff like that, I see it coming to where they'll block all chips to Chinese cars from NVIDIA. NEO is working. Remember, we have our own God chip and we're working on other chips. So guess who they'll have to turn to buy chips, guys? Us. That's who. So I see incredible revenue coming from our chip sector. Incredible revenue coming from our battery swap stations and energy sector. Guys, this is just the beginning. Our chip is 4 times faster than NVIDIA, our God chips. 4 times faster. So I hope you guys found this video to be informational, inspirational, and motivational on a Thursday morning. If so, guys, do not forget to hit that thumbs up. It takes a lot of time to do these videos. If you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a piece of the pie. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.